I've been completely obsessed over the past couple days with cleaning up my sketching style. I'm looking to work on my line work, I'm looking to work on my cross-hatching technique, I'm looking to work on expanding the way or the dynamic poses that I draw my characters in, and also kind of including a really cool background with it. And I've been experimenting a lot with the mix of sketch and color with watercolor, and finding a way to combine this together to make a tiny piece of art, or just to enhance my sketches. So if you're interested in learning how I do this and how I put together this style, then watch this video. I'm going to be explaining the materials that I'm using and the way that I basically put these sort of elements together to make a final work of art. Before we jump into the explanation part of this video, I just want to quickly say that I'm almost at 10,000 followers on Instagram, and this is going to be a big milestone, and I will be hosting a giveaway. So once I reach 10K on Instagram, I will be giving away a gift to a lucky person on Instagram. So do check it out, link down below in the video description. And if you want to support me on Patreon, the link is also down below in the video description. I do have a Patreon where you can support me there directly. I am getting pretty serious about it, and I want to take this on the next level and do a lot of content there for you as well. Exclusive content for my Patreons, little how-to videos, tutorials, behind the scenes, and sort of step-by-step images as well, to basically how I sketch and how I paint. So if you want to support me, do check it out. I am very, very grateful. Now onto the actual materials that I use for my regular sketching. I do work with 3 different pencils. So I have my mechanical pencil from Staedtler, which is in B lead, 0.5 millimeters. I have my Faber Castell mechanical pencil, also 0.5 millimeters, but in HB, and I also have my Faber Castell 9000 graphite pencil in 8B lead. So all of the materials are found down below in the video description in case you just want to go and check them out. As for the paper, I'm using Daler Rodney A4. I've cut it into 2, so I actually split it down the center just to make it a smaller size paper. You can actually get these size at the store as well. I believe it's A5. I don't know. I'm really bad with these. I go by inches usually, so this is a bit so calling them A4 or A5 or A3 or whatever. It's confusing for me. So anyway, so I'm working on A4, but I cut it down the center, and I'm working on half of it. So this is a fine grain heavyweight paper, which is really great for ink, for marker, for watercolor, for sketching. It's not watercolor paper, but it is a good mixed media paper, and I would recommend using this if you need a heavyweight sketching material and you want to incorporate a type of wet sort of material like ink or watercolor. For the initial sketch, I tend to start with my Staedtler Mars Micro mechanical pencil. For some reason, it just works for me. I really love the use of this mechanical pencil, and it is in B lead, which is actually a little bit darker than HB. I'm not really sure why I use B lead. I just use it and it just works for what I want it to, but I do draw very, very lightly, and I try to keep my hand as loose as possible at this point, because what I will tend to do is I will just do a very rough outline, and then I will sculpt the character afterwards once I know exactly where the lines should be. Using my handy dandy kneadable eraser, which is also Faber Castell, and it is super nice to just erase. Some of you guys did recommend this to me in my live streams. I did use it way long ago, and I started using it up again, and it's like, I don't know why I used anything else in my entire sketching kind of journey, but I cannot live without this kneadable eraser. So the kneadable eraser comes super handy when you want to draw or redraw certain areas of the sketch that are very, very small. For example, the face. You can essentially mold the kneadable eraser into a very small point and a very tiny kind of nub and use that to erase in the very hard to reach areas. It also does not leave any eraser shavings anywhere, so you don't have to worry about swiping your hand across the paper. It's just a totally wonderful piece of equipment to have in your sketching bag or whatever you have. Just definitely buy one of these. Once I have the initial shape of the character down right, everything looks good, I'm really loving the shape of it all, the pose of it all, the way that the hair falls, then I start to sculpt the character by going over these lines and enhancing them with a darker color, or even erasing and resculpting and just going by what I think feels right. And the way you'll know it feels right is just by practice, is just by doing it and getting familiar with the way that you're comfortable drawing and the way that you're comfortable drawing characters. So at this point in my sketching process, I tend to alternate between 3 different pencils. So the pencils that I mentioned at the beginning of this session. Basically, the mechanical pencil, the Staedtler one, which is in B lead, I use this to further sculpt the character's face, for example, just to get the lines right and to darken some areas. I will tend to press heavier or like stronger on the paper, and in doing so it will create a darker line. I then go over some of the areas that I want to enhance the shadow. I go over with my 8B pencil, which is a thicker, more creamier, more darker kind of obviously lead, and this really enhances some of the features, for example the eyes, the nostrils, underneath the nose, between the lips, and also underneath the bottom lip. So basically anywhere there is a shadow that I want to enhance, I will use my 8B pencil. As of late, the thing I've been really focusing on, however, is my cross-hatching and trying to simplify the shadows and simplify the sort of planes of the face with a very specific cross-hatch pattern. I've been really trying to find a unique style that fits with what I like, and I think I'm on the right track. And basically how I do it is I do use the cross-hatching technique. If you guys don't know much about it, I would suggest to Google it and see what it is. Basically, it's just drawing lines on top of each other in a hatch or in a cross kind of, oh my gosh, how to explain this? Cross-hatch pattern. Please Google. I'm sure it's going to be easier for you to understand instead of me explaining it. But in this case, I do alternate between all 3 pencils. So in this case, I do have the HB pencil, which is a much lighter version, and I create very, very light crosshatches or shadows underneath certain areas of the skin. And I then combine it with my B lead mechanical pencil and the 8B, which is very, very rare, but only used in very, very dark areas that I want a thick shadow. At this point, the next step is pretty much to outline the character. Sometimes I will outline with black, sometimes I won't, sometimes I'll outline it with color. Really depends on the look that I'm going for, and I'm still, to be honest with you, trying to figure out a specific style with this. In this case, I was kind of going for the, not so much graphic novel style, but I did want to outline her with a black because I did want to do a background with some watercolor and some floral and some silver glittery paint. So I decided to just do a very, very minimalistic kind of outline with 2 different types of markers. I did use a brush marker in black from Touch Liners, and I did use the 0.5 millimeters. And the very last step, or actually the second to last step, is to incorporate watercolor. In this case, I'm using my Shinhan Premium Watercolors, and really honestly the goal for this is to keep it simple. The entire time I'm drawing something, I want to keep it simple, and I want the lines to speak for themselves, and I want the character to speak for herself. I don't want to rely on so much detail in terms of the way that I color or the way that I shade. Therefore, I'm trying to really limit the colors that I use and to limit the sort of line work that I do create. So in this case with the watercolor, I stuck with 2 different colors, a blue and a pink, and I decided to do a gradient from blue, purple to pink, and I just stuck with it and tried to do a very simple design. And as a very last touch, which I have been adding to nearly all of my sketches lately, is this beautiful glittery kind of paint. This is the Aqua Bronze from Schmincke. It comes in different colors. Right now I'm using silver. I do use a lot of the pale gold, and I also have the copper, which almost looks like a rose gold. It's very, very pretty. And I basically just add it, you mix it with water. It's like a powder that you mix with water, and I add it to enhance my watercolors or my sketches, and it creates a gorgeous metallic, silvery or glittery kind of effect. You can do some really nice designs. You can add it on jewelry, you can add it as makeup, you can add it as some tattoos, or even draw your flowers out of it. So there's a lot of things you can do with it, and it really adds that extra oomph that you need, and something that I really like, and I think it's really, really pretty. To basically sum this up, what I'm trying to tell you guys is to keep it simple. This is a lesson learned from myself that I've been literally trying to learn, or I've been working towards for a very long time. I tend to do very complex things, go overboard with the colors, go overboard with the actual concept of the art that I'm creating, and pretty much like 7 out of 10 times I'm not happy with it, and I wish I could have done something more simple, and I wish I could have just stopped when I should have stopped. And this is sort of the thing that I'm trying to learn and what I'm really working on towards with these sort of concept sketches. So just keep it simple, work with simple things, simple lines, simple colors, and just learn your color theory, learn how to draw straight lines, how to draw curvy lines. Just try to do different things, and basically as you get comfortable with it, you can then start to expand upon your concepts, and slowly drawing by drawing you will improve and you will get better, and you will start to learn how to pick up details and how to add them to your sketches and your paintings. So this is sort of the lesson that I'm trying to learn and something I'm trying to teach you guys at the same time. I hope that you liked this video, and I hope that it did help you, give you guys an insight on how I've been approaching my sketches lately. If you did like it, don't hesitate to give this video a big thumbs up. It does help me, and I'm very grateful for all of your support. Don't forget to follow my social media, Instagram and Facebook, where you could see nearly daily posts of my art. And don't forget to subscribe, guys, for more art videos. I'll see you guys on Sunday. I'm uploading another video, so I'll see you there. Bye!